Saskatchewan's Boreal Forest covers half the province. It's a sanctuary home to countless species and communities, yet few have marveled at the vastness of it all. The Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society of Saskatchewan brings you a new series that will share the stories of this land and its people who are on the front lines of ensuring its survival. From the northern lands of the Denesuline to the Mistawasis Nehewak fighting for their brother, from the largest inland river delta in North America to the Treeplanter's paradise on the chopping block. This is Saskatchewan's Boreal Forest.
We can try to keep ourselves high. There's no reason why we give up on paradise. Never dancing in the rain, we don't feel it. You give me just enough, but I'm still using you all up with one more.
I still tree plant, so yeah, it's the community.
So what year is it now?
For tree planting?
Yeah. For Smoky Lake is
6 or 27?
27.
Yeah.
How many trees have you planted?
Over 2 million.
Baby boy named Arlo. He's just about 9 months, and I hope that he will get a chance to grow up tree planting as well. It's something I want to be able to share with him our time and teach him the wonderful things that we experience out here.
Well, how was it?
It was all right.
You know what it was? It was the end of a tree planting summer, and it was a way to celebrate, is what the Olympics I think was, and then it just sort of morphed into a bigger celebration, that being the Ness Creek Music Festival. Now, I'm proud of the fact that Smoky Lake tree planting is 40 years old now, and the fact that it was pivotal in the growth of the Ness Creek Music Festival.
How fitting that the greatest threat to this iconic place is the very industry that helped create it.
For the last decade, we've been pretty involved with the province and different forest companies in helping with their planning and helping develop new provincial standards, these sorts of things. The role we tend to play in those processes is making sure they understand the important role they also play in managing the forest for conservation. It can start getting watered down quickly, even though the standards are there. And so when you start seeing a species like caribou almost completely disappear, you know you have a problem. When you start seeing community after community being frustrated by how the forest company has not put in the type of thought or effort into engagement, there's obviously a problem.
A lot of the studies for the area are done from a forestry standpoint, from all parties involved, because that is normal. That is how the forest is utilized, and it's been important for our province, the logging industry. Obviously, there's some points that haven't been added in that when you're taking a forestry stance, a harvesting stance. How is it going to affect the economy that already exists in the area? There are 3 established campgrounds, and then as well as the ecological side is how much of the water table has been taken into account as these trees leave, just to name something specifically, but all of the ecological points. The buffalo that come out of the park on this side, that they're frequent here.
The Sturgeon River herd came there in 1969 by accident. It wasn't the plan. But over time, they settled in there really well and become part of the environment and sort of reclaim their space in the ecosystem. And reality is that if we're going to do bison restoration in other places in North America, we have to also show that we can do it where they already currently exist as well.
The recreation and conservation area that we're concerned with is one of the last areas that hasn't been logged. The community didn't decide this lately. I think there's been more interest in it because it's about to be harvested again. But this area has been plotted to be logged at least 3, if not 4 times between 97 and now. And each time concessions have been made and alternate plans have come into play. So this isn't something new that the community has done. It might be new players on both sides, but it's not a new fight.
OECMs stand for Other Effective Conservation Measures. And essentially what they are is conservation happening as a result of management, maybe for something else. Ness Creek's a good example of that because there is a very established communion that people have with nature there. And doing some form of conservation, sort of adding to that, gives the people that operate various, whether it's tourism operations or festivals in that area, the opportunity then to involve all of their stakeholders and their audience in conservation management as well.
The entire FMA for the province is 3.3 million hectares. Harvestable is 1.7 million hectares. Our area that we'd like to protect is 11,000 and change hectares total, with just under 9,000 harvestable, which represents less than 0.5% of the FMA for the province. That's of the harvestable, of the 1.7 million. That's only 0.5%. So it is a small amount that we'd be asking to either take out of the FMA and not have it logged, or also to work with them to some sort of alternative. It's not just a bunch of tree huggers, and it's not just a bunch of loggers mixed in. It's a bunch of different people locally that support this, like loggers that don't want to see this area logged, that don't want to be driving their trucks in there and hauling logs out of this area. They want to see an alternate path forward as well. There is a lot of interest in what could we do for traditional uses of the land and area, and continuing on with some of the nature education that goes on in the area, and how can we keep it the way it is, but also have trails, hiking trails, ski trails, campsites that are available for the use of public, continued use and access to all of those lakes.
Ness is sometimes the only opportunity that people get to have a real authentic, vibrant experience in nature. A lot of urban people come to Ness to experience some of the festivals or different activities that are there, and that's their connection to nature. There's very few places in the province and in Canada that consistently have provided that kind of opportunity to people for now going on to 30 plus years, and we've got to protect that legacy.
There's something special out here. I think it's worth us taking a look at, making sure that it's going to stay that way.
Guinness World Record, their regulation was that you had to plant during daylight hours. So I got up I think at 3:30 or 4, the light was up, so I started, and the sun went down around 10, and that's when I stopped. And I was able to put 15,170 trees, pine, into the ground during that time.